Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Grit and Grace with Jennifer and Meredith. I'm your girl, Meredith.
And I'm Jennifer.
Yes, we are so happy to be back. You know, you can catch us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9, and we are so glad that you're tuning in. Of course, we're on Lone Star Community Radio, Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1. More importantly, we're back. I don't know if anyone kind of tried to catch us last week. We had one of our favorite playbacks because we actually were not in the studio. We had to do one of our favorite rewinds because we too were being, you know, certainly inundated with all the storm and everything going on. So if you're with us on Facebook, you got to see Jen kind of make that announcement, make sure, and she did such a great job, by the way, Mama. You did so good.
Well,
I loved it.
thank you.
She was on it because she's our social media queen for the show. And she's actually on right now on Facebook, making sure that any of our listeners, any of our friends are able to just, you know, connect with us. Let us know what you want to hear. Just say hi. You know, you want a little shout out, reach out, right? So thank you so much for tuning in. And we have so much going on this weekend. I know it's been quite a week for everybody. Jen, you did okay through the storm. I know you and your family were affected, right? So you're safe though. But let's fill the listeners in on kind of, you know, the highlights of some of the craziness that y'all had to do or really endure.
We had to leave by boat.
I mean, it's like semi-Armageddon. I mean, I'm not used to it, and I know even out here.
It was so crazy because I've lived in that area for basically my whole life, and to see that much water was crazy because at points you're looking around and you're like, where am I? Like, where is this?
It had to be, right? Because it was something now, of course, you know, this started, as all listeners know, I mean, it started Friday. We started getting the warnings. Everything was coming into Galveston, Rockport. It was just horrible. But then Saturday morning, we weren't sure. And as a safeguard, we didn't come in because we weren't sure what was going on. But this actually happened to you what day? Because I know the days are running together. I mean, for us all.
Monday? I think it was Monday.
Yeah, see, and it's so crazy. So that was Saturday night. I know we had, you know, some of the flash flood warnings all day. Then started getting some of the tornado warnings, and I haven't been through one as a grown-up. And I was, you know, of course, I was worried as all get out with my boy. So I had my go bag. I had the mattress in the hall, all that stuff, right? Thankfully nothing happened, but I started seeing that on your post, everything was getting crazy on your Facebook. You were saying how there's some water coming in. And then it just started kind of just opening up to this crazy chaos in our area, you know.
Yes.
And so thankful that you and the family are okay. But I understand y'all did have some property damage as far as the vehicles, right? Y'all lost a few cars or?
Yes. My mom lost her car, and sadly, my dad lost his Harley.
I know. Well, no, so again,
we got 3 of the vehicles to higher ground.
And I was
those 2, we got stuck and we weren't able to move them anymore.
So just a quick recap, because I know we could spend, you know, and we are going to talk about certainly Harvey and everything going on. But for your family, y'all were actually, y'all were awoken by neighbors, right?
Yes, at 3:30 in the morning that the water was rising in our yard. Now, when my parents went to bed the night before at like 11:30, it was just beyond, the water was just beyond the tree line, way out in the yard.
Right.
So, I mean, that's happened before. No big deal. It might be up in the middle of the yard when we get up in the morning. You know, we're fine.
Right.
But by that time, when we got outside to start moving the car and the motorcycle out from underneath the carport, the water was up to my ankles.
Crazy.
Within an hour, it had risen about 6 inches in an hour because I walked back out there and then the water was seeping into my rubber boots.
That is just wild.
It was happening very fast.
And I mean, it had to be scary. I know for sure. I would have been beside myself. You know, I was totally freaked out on Saturday getting the warnings. So having to incur something like that, you know, like right there in the moment, especially because, you know, you're not only, of course, thinking about the properties, but, you know, ultimately thinking about, you know, what shoulda, coulda, what can happen kind of thing. And
right.
And then it just totally blew up from there because, like you said, you had to get rescued from the boat. So it's just, and, you know, we'll come back to it in a little bit, just some of those heroes and some, I mean, there's countless out there. Of course, the first responders, but everyone in our community. I'm just blown away. I'm not surprised, but I'm blown away at everybody taking a step to really go above and beyond and look out for their neighbor, look out for strangers, and really giving back. So we're definitely going to be talking about that coming up. But real quick, just want to let our listeners know we are back, of course, Saturday mornings from 8 to 9. And we are so excited to be back in the studio. We hope that everybody has fared well with the storm. We know Harvey, with the hurricane and the tropical storm, just has been horrendous on our community. Even if you weren't personally affected, someone in your family or someone you know was. So our hearts and prayers go out to y'all and everyone. And I know we're in recovery mode, but just like I'm sure we saw a lot of the officials discuss, like, we're not going to let this hamper us. We're going to keep on trucking on, and we're going to, move in this sense of we want some normalcy. I think a lot of us were feeling like, what day is it? What time is it? Like, it just is so bizarre, right? So thank you so much for sharing, Jen, because I know our listeners and me, we're just so thankful y'all are okay.
Yes.
And I know property damage is not fun, but I mean, it just reminds you so much how
Hey,
important.
it didn't get in the house. So.
Exactly, right? So real quick, I want to switch gears, kind of give our listeners a heads up on weather and traffic, okay? Today, or right now, actually, it's 68 degrees, but luckily, it's going to be pretty good today. It's going to be a little foggy, but it's going to get up to a high of 92 and going to see that sun. So in essence, we're past August. So, the worst is kind of behind us. And because of the rain and certainly the September weather, we should get a little cooler out there, I hope. Still won't be chilly until probably December, November. I mean, good night, but still every baby step, right? Right now, I know there's a lot going on. So as far as traffic, yes, thankfully, everything's pretty smooth on the highways out here in our area. Now, I'm sure there's still some areas that are affected with high water in the Houston area. So if you're going to be traveling anywhere near Houston, definitely check your roads. I know Waze app is a popular one, and it keeps up to date, as well as Transtar. But as far as our area, we seem to be fine. I know we did get some water, certainly from the release on the lake, and our hearts and prayers go out to all those businesses and people that were affected by it. And I know recovery efforts have already started seeing everybody just jumping on it. So thankful again that our community is amazing. So yes, the roads are green on the Google Maps traffic, so we are good to go there. Real quick, yes, like I was saying, we weren't personally affected, but I, too, was having some craziness. My mom and sister and brother-in-law and their dogs had to be rescued by boat. And it was really scary because they were in Kingwood. And I'm really, I attribute it, of course, to those first responders, but also to my brother. Shout out to the hero of my life, Chris. He's awesome because his gumption, he was out there just spearheading them getting out. And who knows how long it would have taken had he not been there. So praise him and all of those other individuals in the community that make sure that everybody was safe. And there certainly were some fatalities, so it's not something that we take lightly at all, but we want to bring joy, we want to bring some fun, and we want to bring certainly we have some guests scheduled that we didn't we didn't know Harvey was coming. So in essence, the show must go on because we wanted to spotlight these great organizations and leaders in our community. So today I wanted us to have some railroad men. What you think of that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So these two gentlemen, Jen may know just because she knows everybody and their mama, and they may be related somehow. I don't know. But that being said, got Tyler and Justin.
I know their mamas.
But outside of that, I mean, Jen knows everybody in our community. So I'm not surprised.
I don't know everybody.
A lot of people.
I do know a lot of people.
Okay. Thank you, Mama. Yeah. So she hooks us up with a lot of connections in the area. So she's being very humble, but she knows the ins and outs and the back roads.
Yes,
Thank you.
right. But yes, I am related to our guests.
Oh, she is indeed.
Yes.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
But they would have been invited nonetheless because these are just some cool guys. And plus, I love the idea. It's something I don't know about, and I'm sure our listeners will want to find out too. Railroad men. I mean, it's like I know it sounds. Okay, they're not like hobos with trying to catch a ride. I'm sorry. That sounded a little wrong. What I mean is they work at the railroad. So that being said, to me, it's one of those professions that is not as it's certainly, you don't find everybody at the railroad anymore. So when you do, it's kind of one of those cool professions. You're like, I want to know more about it. So when I found out, I was like, yeah, bring them on. Well, and plus safety first, because I think we've seen it every year there's certainly some tragedies, but even in the past, I guess, year and a half, we've seen some where some of the really bad judgment that it just consistently, even with all the warnings, right? So we want to make sure to get that safety out, but also it's just such a cool profession. I wanted to find out more. So I'm sure you do too, listeners. So you want to stay tuned for that. Anything else going on with your week? I guess we're getting back to school, right? Getting the kids back.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Cannot wait.
Well, and we're pretty fortunate again because we weren't as.
My niece and nephew haven't even gotten to start school yet.
Now, what school district are they in?
New Caney.
New Caney. Oh, and so are they going to be able to go back this week, or do they have to wait some more?
We don't know yet.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I know there's been some certainly areas affected that are still kind of trying to figure out. I know HISD, Spring Branch, Katy, these, I think, and I don't know, so forgive me, guys, but I don't know if they're coming back on the 5th or not, because they may have another week off just because of the tragedy. Like Katy, I know some of the schools were certainly inundated with water. It's just horrific there to see what's happening on the properties. But that being said, here in Montgomery and Conroe ISD, we've been pretty fortunate. They go back. I know Montgomery ISD goes back on the 5th. And I, too, am excited because
Conroe, Willis, Montgomery, they all go back.
Oh, they do?
Tuesday.
Okay,
yes.
Wonderful. And yes, it is Labor Day weekend, and we want everyone to enjoy the long holiday. And I think many of us are going to be out there helping with the recovery efforts. I know today we'll be going out to Kingwood, helping with everything there. But hopefully, I'm hoping everybody can also just catch some sun, some good time together too, because yeah, we're back to the grindstone in our area starting on Tuesday, and man, back to that schedule. So it was kind of a teaser.
I'm ready.
Week. Are you?
Yes.
I don't know, because we had to wake up so early with my little man going catching the bus at 6:30. But you're right. I need to get back to the schedule.
I'm ready for normalcy.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel you there. And I can only imagine, especially with everything you've endured. I mean, we were very lucky. So having to even be, evacuated by boat must have been wild. So I'm glad your little man's good. And of course, your parents and your kitty cats. Yeah.
Just one, but yeah, he's fine.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, me and the cats, I just assume they're good. They can always find a good spot. All right. Well, I want to come back because we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I would love to kind of hear some of the good things, some of those hero moments that you love to really kind of talk about from Harvey, just because it's so topical right now. We want to shed light on the good stuff that has occurred and just some of the stories I'm sure we've all seen in the news. Just kind of reiterate some of the greatness out there and things that we can do, and as well some go-to for some of the distribution centers and areas that you can get help. Okay. So that being said, why don't you fill our listeners in on some of the social media before we take a break?
Facebook, Instagram, Grit and Grace Texas, or Twitter, Grit and Grace Tex, TEX.
Oh, look at her. She doesn't even have a cheat sheet. This is awesome. She's like, I got it all. Okay. Everything is. What about our email?
gritandgracetexas@gmail.com.
Bam. All right. She's ready. Okay. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more, of course, talking about Harvey, but stay tuned. We've got more of Grit and Grace with Jennifer and Merideth coming up next. Thanks so much for tuning in this week, guys. Be sure to check us out every Saturday live, 8 to 9 on Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1. Also on irlonestar.com. But more importantly, subscribe. Let us know what you want to hear. Leave us your comments, right? Yeah. We want to hear from you, all right? Check us out online, too. Where can they find us online? Damn it, woman. That's what you're supposed to say. The social media. Grit and Grace Texas at gmail.com. Online, all our social media platforms are at Grit and Grace Texas. Be sure to connect with us, guys.